Good evening, kids. In today's lesson, we'll study the game Evenson versus Alekhine, played in Kiev, 1916. In this lesson, we'll learn about the strategy of open file, the principle of two weaknesses, and also the strategy of the outpost. So let's see what happened in this game. We have a failure opening and world champion Alekhine play this opening from time to time. So let's see. Now we already have like the strategy is going to start. Look, queen c7 and knight c5. So now we have to see what's happening with this knight, right? What do we want to do with this knight? Okay, at the moment the knight is taking a pawn on e4, but you see the pawn is protected. So you see this knight could go to e6 and then target the square on d4 and f4, right? And that's exactly what happened here, right? Look at this nice outpost for a black knight. Pay attention to this, right? Knight goes to d4. Of course, it would be nice if you can trade, right? If bishop takes and then pawn takes, that would be great, right? Because then the game is going to get open and the bishops are stronger. Now, queen d1, rook d8. Here we are. Rook is coming to the open file. Marvelous. And supporting the knight on d4. Now, I like this next move. Bishop to e6. Why bishop to e6? Well, black wants to trade an important bishop on c4 because that bishop was targeting pawn on f7, and it's nice to trade. And of course, you come back and you capture with a knight. Queen c1. Look how difficult it is for white to move the pieces, right? There's no space for white, right? Pay attention again to d4, and you will see f4 is going to become also very important. Rook d7, doubling the rooks on d file. Very nice, right? Now, bishop to f2, knight h5. So now you can see why the f4 is important. Knight wants to go to h5 and to f4, right? Knight e2. And now Grandmaster Alekhine played c5. So first he plays c5 before he jumps to f4, right? Here we are. Knight goes to f4. So we have another outpost. Look, beautiful outpost for a knights, right? So when you play with the knights, you need to look for such a places on the chessboard where the knight can land on. And here the trade happens because what else can white do? Otherwise, this knight is really very powerful and it's going to stay there. But now we have another strategy. Well, yes, black has a double pawns here. But it's really not important in this case because, first of all, this bishop is going to be much better than this bishop because it's going to go on this diagonal. And look at that. Ooh, I like this. Now, of course, the most important here is that rooks are an open file. That's what is going to make this game very famous. C3. Now, queen e5. Centralization of the queen. Queen is the best in the center of the board. Rook a2 and rook d3. Now, we are going to learn the principle of two weaknesses. Look, there is a one weak pawn here, right? And black is clearly dominating the center of the board, dominating the only open file, right? It's very clear that black is better. But that's not enough to win the game, right? So pay attention now how black is going to create another strategy on the king side. Look, black is going to improve the pieces. Now he's putting the bishop here. And this is an important moment. Like, what do you do here? Do you allow white to open up the file? No, right? c4, very important move. You block the file, right? And now c3 is even weaker, right? Pay attention to this move c4, right? Look how c4 is protecting the rook. That's another outpost. And this is what I was talking about, a new strategy that we have. Black is now starting the action on the king side. Look, there is one weakness on the queen side, but with this strategy, that's called the principle of two weaknesses, black is going to start attacking on the king side. So that way, black keeps the white player um, busy on both sides. Look, h5 and g4. And now after this move f6, look, black is kind of closing now the king side. But pay attention to the pawn on g3. The pawn is creating problems for a white king. White king cannot move and is going to be checkmated on the back rank. And now we'll see what happened on the end of the game. Right? b5. Now, black, of course, needs to win the game, right? In those kind of situations, you have to look for a plan that could win. Check, and black is activating all the pieces. There are problems on the back rank, right? Pay attention to the white piece. It cannot move. Look at this bishop. It cannot move, right? It's quite bad. But black also needs the queen, because without a queen, it's going to be difficult to win. Right now, the queen is active, right? And the back rank is really weak. And here, bishop to c7. Pay attention to this move, bishop to c7. Black wants to play bishop to b6, right? Threatening on the diagonal. Trades and queen e2, and now bishop to b6. Now white plays a very good move, queen a6. Well, this is the idea. If you would take, right, that would be a big mistake, because white capture, the draw. Look, draw, check, 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 perpetual check. You cannot win the game, right? So this was a really nice trick that white set up. But of course, the world champion found out this move. And here, it's interesting, um, like what happened here. Queen f1, and then queen e2, and the game is finished, right? Because rook d1. World champion didn't want to trade here, right? Because of course he's still winning, right? But he didn't want to do that, because this is much better, right? With the queen e2 and rook d1, look, the white king is really in trouble. There is no danger that this queen can start attacking the black king. But there was a very interesting line here. Look at this. Look at this. How black could play rook to d1 here, and now uh, look at this defense. Right, check, and black plays king g7. Check, king g6. And now white wants to check from this side, but black plays bishop e8. I love this move. Look how it blocks everything. Oh, come on. And then king g7. There are no checks. Look, uh, there are no checks, right? And the next move is rook e1. So beautiful, really nice. I mean, look at this cool defense. Um, so what we've learned in this game is definitely the open file. We've learned on the end about the principle of two weaknesses. And then, of course, we've learned about the outposts. Like we had one outpost here for a rook on d3. We had outposts here for a knight on f4, right? Also, we've learned the centralization of the queen and the bishop. Did you see how those two pieces were in the center and really dominating the center, what's called domination, right? So that's what we did. This is a really nice, simple, strategical game. That's exactly the type of games that kids should be studying because it's easy to understand, right? Okay, I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I'll see you then again tomorrow. Bye bye.